just how many times we've seen Filip Forsberg make game-changing plays. And it's this time of the year when you need that the most. How much of an impact would it make to get a healthy Filip Forsberg back? He's been out a while.
Well, it's a huge impact because they got started on this stretch. I go back to mid-March. It was a Monday afternoon game in Tampa, oddly enough, and they were missing a lot of players. Forsberg was healthy at that time and playing, and they played great in that game, and they played hard, and they found a way to win, and I thought that started to kind of give them momentum moving forward. And so Filip Forsberg, in these type of games, they're tight games right now. Your goalie's playing well. He's giving you a chance to win. I know those numbers without him are really good, but you get him back in the lineup and you get into a 1-1 game late or a 2-2 game, and Jackie, he's a guy. You don't need me to tell you. He can make a difference. He's a streaky scorer, and he can make plays to make a difference in tight games. So I'm sure John Hines is hoping he gets back ASAP.
Yeah, you know why that record without Filip Forsberg over those 16 games is 11-4-1?
I know.
Because UC Saros has been playing like a man freaking possessed, yes. Okay? He has been easily their most valuable player over this stretch of good hockey, and that's no disrespect to Filip Forsberg, who is their best forward. But his numbers, I mean, we talked about this when he came back from injury and he had great numbers over like a 5-game sample size. This is a legit sample size now where UC Saros is a player who can not only be the reason that Nashville gets into the postseason, but that could be scary in a 7-game playoff series if he can play the way that he's been playing, because he has been really, really good for Nashville. And I think his play is kind of been what has really sparked things for this Nashville Predators team, as you brought up in our meeting today.
Yeah, and you know, Tony, I would also say about him, I think that Lindsay's comment, when she talked about John Hines saying, I don't know if I've seen a guy play this well for this long a stretch. I mean, I've been watching this game a long time, too. And, yeah, we've seen great goalies over the years. But this is a pretty long stretch of very, very high-end play. So I'll be curious, can he continue that high-end play? I guess only time will tell. But, boy, oh, boy, it has been a great stretch. And, Jackie, you're absolutely right. That's why the Nashville Predators are where they are. Plus, of course, I think they've been working really hard as a group and feeding off that good goaltending.
We know that Tyler Seguin's been working really hard to get back on the ice, and that takes us to www.twitter.com on the internet. Anton Khudobin in net, 4 Stars versus Carolina tonight. Lots of game time decisions, including Klingberg, Mike Heikas says. Tyler Seguin is, quote, not far off, unquote, but they still want him to be very comfortable with decision to get back in a game. How impactful could a healthy Tyler Seguin be? He's been out the whole season, and I give Jackie credit. Jackie said this earlier today when we were talking about it. We haven't seen a healthy Tyler Seguin in a long time, like years.
Yeah, hey, listen, I mean, for the Dallas Stars, just to get a fresh body back at this point, I mean, we talked about it earlier, right? Not more than 2 days off going back to the beginning of March, right? I mean, this team has been just grinding, guys in and out of the lineup, guys playing, I'm sure, through a lot of aches and pains and bumps and bruises. But they've found a way to get back into it and stay in it. And the thing was, they had that 6 games against Columbus and Detroit. They had to make the most of that, and they did. They won 5 of the 6 games. They got, I guess it was 10 of a possible 12 points. So if they can get Seguin back in, and we talked to Mike Heike yesterday, and the idea is Seguin is now have to make the decision. He has to feel comfortable that he's ready to play, and I think that's smart because there's no reason to put him out there if he's not on board and not ready. So, Jackie, for me, if they can get him back, even in a little bit of a small dose, to give them a fresh body in their lineup, that'd be great news.
Well, that's the key phrase there is fresh body, because even Hintz, right? Like Hintz has been great for Dallas when in the lineup, but I never know if he's playing or not. He's in one game, then he's out, then he's in, then he's out. He's like on and off like a light switch. So he's even playing, obviously, through a nagging injury as well. But I think, for Tyler Seguin, I just keep going back to this postseason run that saw the Dallas Stars go all the way to the Cup final. Tyler Seguin took a lot of heat during the postseason for his lack of offense offensive production. And we find out when the playoffs are over, and there was speculation in the bubble while this was happening, this guy was playing with not one, not two, like 3 injuries during the playoffs last year. And he was finding other ways to sort of contribute to the Dallas Stars game in terms of doing things away from the puck and trying to be a good teammate and all that sort of stuff. But my point is that if he can be fully healthy and actually play his game and the way that we have seen Tyler Seguin produce in the past, that is a huge boost, not just for Dallas down the stretch, but in a playoff series, because they were able to get to a cup final with a very unhealthy Tyler Seguin taking up one of their roster spots. If he can be healthy, I think that he is an X factor in a series, and he's someone that provides, you know, just more offense for a team that's lacking a lot of it right now with no Radulov in the lineup either. So Dallas has dealt with so much adversity to this point. I think the hardest thing for Dallas, if they get into the playoffs, is going to be overcoming this 2 months that they've had to play every other day, literally, just to get in. So they're going to be a tired group when they do get into the postseason. But I guess, you know, you said it, Eve. Tyler Seguin will have fresh legs once he gets his game legs back. Like, he'll at least be mentally, like, ready to go.